The first winter storm of December crashed against the city like a warning, coating every rooftop in cold white silence. Inside the narrow kitchen of his small apartment, Ethan Rowe, a weary single father with tired eyes and hands cracked from double shifts, stood frozen in place, because one careless joke he had made hours earlier at work had changed the way his boss looked at him. He had laughed it off when he said he could fake being her boyfriend this Christmas, but the moment Amelia Hart, his intimidating yet quietly gentle boss, leaned closer and whispered, "Don't," everything inside him shifted. It wasn't a command. It wasn't fear. It was something unspoken, something she didn't know how to admit, that if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the magic of unexpected connections, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. Ethan had never intended to say those words. He'd only meant to lighten the mood when Amelia walked into the office looking overwhelmed by the upcoming holiday gala and the pressure from her wealthy, judgmental family who always expected her to arrive with someone successful enough. Ethan wasn't successful by their standards. He worked long hours at the company warehouse, often skipping breaks so he could clock out early to pick up his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, from school. She was the center of his world, the reason he fought through exhaustion and bitterness every day. After losing his wife 3 years earlier, every December had felt like walking through a snowstorm without a coat, just trying to get through it. Amelia Hart, on the other hand, was everything he wasn't. A polished executive with sharp heels, expensive coats, and the kind of presence that made boardrooms hold their breath. She was known for being distant, almost untouchable. But Ethan had seen the cracks in her armor, the way she stayed late at the office alone, the way her eyes softened when she saw Lily coloring in the break room as he finished paperwork, the way she looked away whenever anyone talked about family. That afternoon, when Ethan joked about pretending to be her boyfriend at the Christmas gala, it wasn't planned. It slipped out while he tried to make her smile. But the way she whispered, "Don't," wasn't rejection. It sounded like fear, and longing, and maybe a silent plea not to complicate something fragile between them. The days that followed felt different. Ethan noticed how Amelia lingered near his workspace more than usual, asking small questions, offering help she never had time for before. He felt something awakening inside him, something he thought grief had buried forever. But every step forward came with guilt. He didn't want to confuse Lily. He didn't want to risk losing his job. He didn't want Amelia to think he was using his situation to step into her world. The snow thickened as Christmas drew closer, and the city lights began glowing through frosted windows. One evening, after a long shift, Ethan found Amelia sitting alone in her office, staring at a stack of unopened invitations. She looked tired in a way that had nothing to do with work. She told him, in a trembling voice that surprised them both, that she feared facing her family alone again. She confessed that every year they compared her to people she could never be, questioned why she wasn't married yet, and made her feel like something important was missing from her life. Ethan stood there, unsure whether to comfort her or retreat. But then she saw Lily waiting outside her office door with her little backpack and sleepy eyes, and something softened in Amelia's face. She said Lily reminded her of hope, hope she didn't know how to reach anymore. Ethan left that night feeling torn. He wanted to help her. He wanted to be there. But he also feared stepping into something too complicated for his already fragile life. He told himself to stay focused on Lily, to avoid letting feelings lead him somewhere dangerous. Yet every night, he kept replaying the look Amelia gave him when he said goodbye. It wasn't just gratitude. It was something deeper, something unspoken, something that scared them both. Everything changed 1 week before Christmas. Lily was practicing her holiday recital song in the living room when she suddenly stopped and asked Ethan why he never smiled during December anymore. Her tiny voice cracked as she told him she missed seeing him happy. Ethan felt something break inside him. He held her close, realizing he had let grief take more from him than he intended. That night, after Lily fell asleep, he stared at the snow outside the window and made a quiet promise to himself: he would try to live again, not just survive. The next morning, he found Amelia waiting for him near the entrance of the warehouse, clutching a wrapped gift with trembling hands. She admitted she had wanted to give it to Lily but wasn't sure if it would cross a line. When Ethan opened it with Lily later, they found a pair of warm snow boots and a handwritten note saying she deserved to walk into a future that didn't feel cold anymore. It was the first time Ethan had seen Lily cry from happiness since her mother passed. The days leading up to the gala were filled with small moments: Amelia helping Lily braid her hair in the office, Ethan showing Amelia how to hang lights properly without using fancy tools, the three of them eating simple takeout dinners in the warehouse break room. These moments weren't loud, but they were healing. Still, neither Ethan nor Amelia discussed the gala again. They danced around the topic like two people afraid of breaking something delicate. Finally, the night arrived. Amelia looked breathtaking in a dark emerald dress, but her hands shook as she stepped out of her car at the event hall. Ethan was only there to drop Lily off for a kids' Christmas activity in the same building, not to enter the gala. But the moment Amelia saw him, standing in the cold lobby with his child in his arms, she froze. The loneliness in her expression hit him harder than he expected. Ethan wasn't dressed up. He wasn't prepared. But when Amelia's eyes silently begged for something she couldn't put into words, he stepped forward and simply stood beside her. Not pretending to be her boyfriend. Not following his joke. Just being there, as someone who cared. Inside the hall, whispers followed them immediately. Amelia's family stared with raised brows, clearly judging Ethan's simple clothes and humble presence. But she didn't let go of his arm. She stood tall, introducing him not as a date, but simply as someone important to her. Ethan watched her confidence grow as the night went on. For the first time in years, he saw her breathe freely without worrying about appearances. When they stepped outside after the gala ended, snow was falling in slow, gentle flakes. Lily ran to them with a handmade ornament she'd painted, and without thinking, she slipped her small mittened hand into Amelia's. The sight of it made something inside Ethan melt completely. If the story so far has touched your heart or made you feel something warm in this cold world, please don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Your support means more than you know. That night, Amelia confessed that when he joked about pretending to be her boyfriend, she whispered, "Don't," because she didn't want something real to be dismissed as a joke. She didn't want their connection to be something temporary or artificial. Ethan felt tears sting his eyes as he realized she had been afraid of losing whatever fragile bond had been growing between them. He admitted he had been hiding behind his grief for too long, afraid to give anyone the chance to matter again. Standing under the falling snow, surrounded by twinkling city lights, Ethan felt something shift inside him. The cold didn't bite the same way anymore. The world felt softer, warmer, like maybe second chances were real after all. Please comment your favorite moment of the story right here, before the final lines. I'd love to hear what touched you the most. In the quiet glow of the winter night, as Lily giggled and made little snow angels at their feet, Ethan and Amelia stood close, not out of obligation, not out of loneliness, but out of a newfound understanding that sometimes the most unexpected connections heal the deepest wounds. And for the first time in years, Ethan allowed himself to believe that love, real, patient, gentle love, could find him again. This Christmas didn't bring perfection, but it brought warmth, hope, and the courage to open a heart long kept frozen. And that was enough, more than enough.